And how long have you been playing with the Summer Jazz Camp?
This is my second year playing bass with the Summer Jazz Camp. It's the third if you count the year that I played the trumpet.
Okay. And so now you mentioned that you play the bass and trumpet. How long have you been playing both of those?
Well, I really only played the trumpet for a couple of years before I started moving to the lower octave horns, and now I'm at the point where I'm playing the tuba with the Leominster High School marching band. And I've only been playing the bass for about 2.5 years.
Okay, excellent. So would you say you're well versed in each instrument that you play then?
Yeah, I spend a lot of time at home practicing, mostly with the bass because you can use headphones with that so it doesn't bother my parents.
I see,
But
I see.
I make sure to get at least an hour to 2 hours of practice every day on one of my instruments.
Okay. So now, when you're at the Summer Jazz Camp, how do you help and mentor kids that are younger than you?
Well, really, I think the main thing with the young kids is they had been playing in larger groups before, where they were always in the back, especially with the rhythm section. It's really getting them to come out of their shell, get them to play other songs by themselves instead of with the group, and to also teach them kind of the fundamentals of playing the different kinds of jazz music. Because jazz, it's really, really complicated, and it's important to be well versed in all the different kinds of music that we play here at the Jazz Camp.
Okay, excellent. So now, let's open up a scenario. Say that a younger kid, first time playing bass, first time in the jazz camp, comes up to you and he says, "This is my first time and I have no idea what's going on." What piece of advice would you give to him about playing bass, summer jazz camp, about just even performing in general that would help him through?
Well, the main thing with playing the bass is to not really listen to yourself play. Obviously, you need to sound in key, you need to be in tune, but playing in the rhythm section, one of the main things that you have to do is listen to what other people are playing. If you do that, you end up locking in a lot better with whatever groove is going on. Even if it's not a song that has a lot of groove to it, like a really, really slow song, you still lock in with the rest of the band better if you listen to that.
All right, well, thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you for your time.
See you on the flip side. All right, finish my...
All right, so take two then. So, what's your name?
My name is Ryan Boyden.
And how long you been playing with the Summer Jazz Camp?
Since I was in 7th grade, so it's been 7 years. Played all throughout middle school, all throughout high school, and now in college I come back and mentor the new students.
Okay. So what instruments do you play?
I play the electric bass, but I also help students who play guitar and piano as well.
So how long have you been playing the electric bass or even the piano and guitar?
So I've been playing the electric bass for 9 years now. It's tough thinking it that way. I'm getting old, but I've also been playing a little bit of piano and guitar for about 5 or 6 years, I'd say.
Oh, excellent. So now, would you consider yourself an instructor at this Summer Jazz Camp this year?
I would consider myself more of a mentor, just because I'm not officially a teacher like Mr. Landry or Mr. Zias, but I definitely feel like I do a good job in helping out new students learn how to play, when to play, what to play, stuff like that.
So I understand that you conducted a song this year. How was that an experience for you?
It was definitely it was different from helping out in the back scene. That time you're up in front, everyone's listening to you, you're the focus of attention, and I guess the pressure is on in a good way. You're directly responsible for starting out the piece, ending it, and in between making a lot of improvements. But it's a lot of pressure, but it's really rewarding when you get there, just act comfortable, then help them play the song really well.
Excellent. So now, as a mentor, as you call yourself, what exactly do you bring to the table to the students? What is the one thing that you stress to students the most?
Probably the most, just at first, relax, especially a lot of new students. I'm noticing that, the more that we do the camp, the more we focus on a lot of chart reading. A lot of new students, that isn't necessarily their strongest point. So I just kind of tell them to relax, take a step back, and really just work on getting to the level that you want to be at, not necessarily the level that the whole camp is trying to push for.
Yes.
Because it's all about your own growth, and that's going to come from setting goals for yourself, and from that, working with the band somehow at least to get that goal. So I really encourage all of them to focus on getting better individually.
Excellent. So now, let's put a scenario here. First day of camp, first day playing bass, this little kid comes up to you and he says, "It's my first day for everything. I have no clue what's going on." What is the one piece of advice about, playing jazz camp, anything, that you would offer him?
I would tell him to focus on just listening. That's the hardest part about playing music is listening to it while you're playing, following along, knowing what everything else is going on in the surroundings. So I would tell them, we can work on, getting better individually, but while you're here at the camp, you should really focus on building up that peer strength.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice talk. All right, what's your name?
Jeffrey Hines.
Jeffrey Hines. And how long have you been playing at the Summer Jazz Camp?
This is my 6th year.
6 years. Wow.
Yeah, I keep coming back.
So what instrument do you play?
I actually play the drum set.
The drum set, nice. And how long have you been playing that?
Probably since 2005.
2005?
Yeah, I really get serious in 2005, and then I started coming to camp and building my chops up every year and building my skill up.
Excellent, excellent. So now would you consider yourself an instructor at this?
Yes and no. I help a lot of the drummers out, so yes, but I don't go up in front of the whole which I wish I'd like to. But.
Yeah. That's excellent. So what is the one thing you bring to the table when mentoring these young kids? Like, what is your thing you stress the most?
Just keeping time and keeping it simple. Each player I've noticed has a different skill, so I make sure I work with them on their set skill. And if they're more advanced, I work with their advanced. If they're basic, I go basic. You have to basically can't do equal stuff because they're both in different spawns.
All right, excellent. So now let's put a scenario for a moment. There's a young kid, it's his first day in jazz camp, first day playing the drum kit. He comes up to you and he says, I have no idea what's going on. What is the one piece of advice that you could offer him about jazz camp, drum set, anything that could get him through?
Just start basic. Just start where you feel comfortable about, because you don't want to overwhelm the person the first day, then they'll never do this.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Now you just hit stop.
Yeah.
You're on.
All right.
Okay.
So, what's your name?
It's Marso. Teach at Skyview Middle School. Hi, everybody.
How long have you been teaching there?
I've been teaching there about 15 years.
Wow, 15 years.
Yeah.
And how many of these years have you been with the Summer Jazz Camp?
This is actually my second year.
Second year?
Second. Yes, I've been invited every year, and I never came thinking, what did I know about jazz? Turns out I knew more about jazz than I even believed. So I've been having a blast.
So, what have you experienced? What have you learned from playing
Well,
jazz camp?
I've learned, for one thing, it's the opportunity for all the kids to come together, and kids like you, other kids that come that have already graduated or in high school, come down and help the 6th grade kids, which is really challenging for them because they're still learning new notes, new rhythms, things they haven't seen before. And I've learned that it's all possible. It's all possible because even for those who've never done anything like this before, by the end of the 2 weeks, they're ready to go and they feel comfortable.
So what is the one major most piece of advice that you would bring to these students when you teach, when you instruct the band?
Try. I always say something is better than nothing. Don't worry about mistakes. A mistake means you're trying. Keep doing that. Perfection doesn't come easy. If you get there, it's a bonus. If you don't get there, you've done the best you can. That's all we can ask of any student.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Marso.
You're welcome. Great to
Nice
see you
talking to
again.
Good to see
Thank
you
you.
too. So, what's your name?
My name is Arthur Pierce.
Arthur Pierce. And how long have you been an instructor in the Leominster High School or Leominster School System?
I've been teaching in Leominster School since 2004, so 10 years.
Excellent. And how many of those years have you been playing with the Summer Jazz Camp?
I've been playing off and on with the Jazz Camp since it got started. I think I was here for the 2nd and 3rd year, then I maybe took a year or two off and started coming back about 3 or 4 years ago. So I've been to most of them.
Excellent. So now, as an instructor at the camp, what is the major thing that you teach kids? What is your one thing that you stress to these kids?
Well, the biggest thing that I think the kids need to know is that kind of the relationship between notes and rests, how to make music. It's not, playing loud and fast all the time. Sometimes those rests are more powerful than any note they can play. And, to be accurate, to be playing, it's the balance between playing what the composer wrote and then being free to improvise. And sometimes, a lot of times, when the kids do start to improvise, they're so used to playing notes all the time that they don't give themselves space and rest. We try and kind of, teach them how to read it as accurately as possible when it's written, and then when it's improvised, to be able to loosen up and have fun with it. put spaces into it. And I love seeing the growth. One of the most gratifying things about teaching the camp year after year is you get to see the growth that the kids make from year to year to year. And you get to hear the solos progress, from when they first started and they could just, do 2-note solos, and now where they're, using the whole scale, and they're starting to get more thoughtful and logical about what they're doing, and it's starting to be more like call and response and thoughtful sentences. And that's really gratifying for me as a teacher to see the growth of the students.
So in the same aspect, what have these kids shown you and taught you about, how to teach music or how you even play yourself?
Well, it's always some of the times the things that you think are going to be really easy, could be a little bit more difficult. Sometimes you have to put yourself back into the shoes of the student and say, when I was coming up, what was I struggling with? If I was looking at this music, as someone in middle school or high school, what would be the most challenging thing for me? Sometimes as teachers, we've had so much years of instruction in music theory that, you just kind of, some of the things we just kind of roll off the top of our heads. And we need to think about ourselves, about how to make this understandable for someone who's experiencing it for the first time.
All right, well, thank you very much, Mr. Pierce.
It's been my pleasure.
My pleasure. All right, so what's your name?
My name's Larry Zuaro, and I am currently the teacher at Southeast Elementary School. I pretty much taught in a lot of places in Leominster. This is going to be my 15th year coming up.
Wow.
15 years, I know. It went by really fast, too. And I've taught at, I started out in 2000. I was split between Johnny Appleseed School and Northwest School. I was 2.5 days in each school. And then a couple of years went by, and then I changed my job, and I went from that, I went to halftime at Northwest and halftime at Samoset, where I met Mr. Landry, and I was there for 4 or 5 years, and then I got my own school in 2007 when I went to Southeast, and I've been there ever since. So.
Oh, amazing. So how long have you been playing with the Summer Jazz Camp here?
I've been doing this, the Summer Jazz Camp, since the first year, so
Wow.
2005, or there's some discrepancy on the date when we started, actually, but I know that Mike Caudill, who's Mr. Caudill, who's the teacher here now, he was in the first camp, and Mr. O'Leary was in the first camp, and it's so great to see them teaching.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of stress off the rest of us.
Crazy.
Yeah, and this camp has been a joy, and I've had a lot of fun. And I think the biggest thing that I learned this week was that letting other people, having the kids get a different perspective than from myself or the teachers who are here. Having the kids hear other voices is very helpful.
Excellent. So now, as a instructor at the camp, what is one thing that you stress most to these kids? What is your prime teaching?
I think the biggest thing is the more they play. If they play, the more they play, the better they're going to be. In today's world, where Google, type whatever you want in Google and hit return, I think this is one of the few things, playing an instrument is one of the few things that you still have to work at. And you still have to, you just can't go to Google and say, I want to play, and return, oh, here it is. This is one of the few things you can spend time on. It's a lifelong journey for them. It's not just, hopefully some of the kids have picked up that, it's not just about, I think for the teachers, it's not just about, the 2 weeks and then, forget it, I don't want to do it anymore. It's about continuing on throughout the rest of their lives.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure. Had a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.